Welcome to Subramani. Whenever I do a post if you had invested 10,000 rupees in Wipro in 1980, it would be worth 700 crores. I get amazingly great number of comments. So I tweeted yesterday, by the time you see this, it will have to be a few days before. About Wipro creating 700 crores for the person holding if it bought worth 10,000 in 1980. Is this mathematically correct? Yes. Is it emotionally correct? Very difficult to say unless you had a lot of other assets, which meant you did not have to look at this asset. So let me look at the responses. Very sensible response from somebody called Benis Kumar, who I know deals with behavioral finance. He said something very sensible. Perhaps I got only two sensible answers. So first, let me read out what Benis Kumar said. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm PV Subramaniam or Subramani on Twitter also. So if you follow me there, you will see this also. This is the most difficult period would be when value touches 10 lakhs, which is true. When your 10,000 rupees becomes 10 lakhs, people around you will say, "Arey, 10,000 has become 10 lakhs. What more do you want? Why don't you sell it?" So, and down to 6 lakhs, suppose, what Benis is saying is, suppose you put 10,000, it has become 10 lakhs, then it comes down to 6 lakhs and stays there for a very long time. Everybody, including your wife and children, and everybody will say, "Look, I told you, you should have sold it off when it was 10 lakhs. Now, on its way back, when it reaches 10 lakhs, there is huge amount of temptation to sell it off, right? Because you say, thank God I sold it, and then it could go to 20. So, all these psychological barriers have to be crossed. 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, and then at every stage your total portfolio looks very small compared to this, right? So holding on from 10,000 to 700 crores is only theory, does not really happen, which is what Benis Kumar says. That makes sense. Now let me answer the others. So one person has said, and apart from EQ and IQ, one has to be super duper rich, not needing this amount for 53 years. Completely wrong and completely stupid answer, simply because you would have still got dividends, right? So assuming today the market price is 700 crores and there's a 1% dividend yield, you are still getting 7 crores as dividend. Right, that's not something small. You are super duper rich because of this 700 crores, but it is not as though this is 700 crores apart from the dividends. So the dividends could have been yours, right? So let us look at each. Then the other answer is 10,000 was such a big amount in 1980 that nobody had 10,000 to invest. Complete nonsense. 1977 saw the advent of Reliance IPO, HDFC IPO, and all slew of IPOs like Colgate, Procter and Gamble, Cummins, Siemens, all of them, all the FERA companies had done their IPO, and anybody who held any of those shares had more than 10,000 rupees to invest. Yes, to make that investment, you should have known that it is going to do very well. You should have put 10,000 rupees into it, or some whatever fraction you could have put. You could have put 20,000, you could have put 40,000, you could have put 5,000, whatever the size of the IPO was, and you could have held it for the rest of your life, right? So did you do it? That is the question. 10,000 of 1980, even at say 8% inflation, would just mean 10, 20, 40, 80, about 1.5 lakhs. Are you trying to tell me today people don't have 1.5 lakhs to invest? So there were a lot of people with 10,000 rupees. My father surely had 10,000 rupees to invest in Wipro. He didn't. That's a different matter, right? So of course he invested in Colgate, he invested in P&G, Pfizer, Cummins, Siemens, and those have all done well. But they have not reached 700 crores, right? So that is the key here, right? Crores of dividends were also paid. Kishore Vaid in 1980, except for super HNIs, nobody had 10,000 to invest. And in a fragile company like Wipro was not fragile. Wipro was a good company. It was more into, it's a Western India oil refiner, right? It's an oil refiner. It was processing, refining oil. That's what it was, right? Wipro is Wipro is an acronym for this, right? So you understand that. Of course, it's the true test of patience and willpower, I agree. Again the question, how many people could afford 10,000 in 1980? Forget INR salary, even US dollar salary of a person working for US government was only 1,000. and they could invest only 1000 per scrip from 85 to 90. I don't know from where people get these figures, mathematical numbers from. Innumeracy is very common, so sorry for being so scathing, but yeah, these are all $1,000,000 minds saying this freelancer, holding few good ones for 20 years. I must wait for 30 more years. Correct, perfectly right. I should have had such a huge amount of money at the first time, or I should have at least born before that. No point in just saying invest in this at that time stories. Nagapan Muthukumar, you are a genius, but I think you are in the wrong place when you're saying you should not have invested so long back. 10,000 in 1980 was a very big deal, I guess. Say somebody invested in it as a 20-year-old, he would be now 63. So what is the point in getting so much money now? Brilliant answer. And it is not as though you bought 100 shares and you have to hold on to 100 shares. These 100 shares became 200, 400, there were bonus issues, etc. So you could have sold partially. So you didn't invest, your father didn't invest, your grandfather didn't invest. That could be heartburn, but don't say it didn't happen or it couldn't have happened. Wipro would have data on this. There is no grow. There is no grow and Zerodha apps. How can you have bought shares? Well, because of Zerodha and grow, I think more traders are losing money than traders losing money in the 70s and 80s. But that's for a different video. And who would have 10k time to invest? The salary of an average employee was 400 rupees in 1980. Hello, Archana. Please go and check your do your math again, right? Because I think in 1980 the chartered accountants stipend was about 100 rupees. It was 60, 100 and 200 for the 3 years, right? So 400 was not the salary of a person. And believe me, even today for 10,000 is a big amount for say 50% of this country's population, which is below poverty line. So don't talk about that. These videos, my Twitter handle, my videos are only for people who can invest. Those who can't invest are just wasting their time here. Very few had stock market knowledge. This I completely agree with Murli Mohan. Very few people had stock market knowledge, but at least in the place where I grew up, which is Mumbai and in Ghatkopar, enough people had that knowledge, right? Manish Negi is saying in liquidity is a double-edged sword. Completely agree. People don't sell real estate because they say, what will I do with the money? So I will not sell. Whereas shares are liquid, it is easy to sell. You don't have to tell anybody. Just call your broker and it can get sold off. So the more liquid a share, the more chances of it being sold. Yes, that I completely agree. It is possible only if holds less quantity, Krishna says, but you could have held smaller quantity. You could have bought 100 shares, that would have become say 5,000 shares at some stage. You could have sold 50 shares, 100 shares, whatever. You need not have held all the shares. It need not be worth 700 crores. It can be worth 500 crores, right? It is possible only if the physical share certificates were lost and you forgot about it. Believe me that it is not possible. In India, if you had this money and it was lost to the government, it had gone to IEPF, you would pay 25% to get it back. So your 700 crores would cost you about 150 crores, 170 crores to get it back. That's the kind of commission people charge to recover your money lost to the government. And government has forfeited a lot of shares and a lot of dividends, right? 10k was big money for a lot of people. 10k is big money for a lot of people today. So what is the angle that you are coming to? In the current, so another brilliant question. The question should be that in current scenario, which company can replicate the same? Again, another stupid question, simply because what you should be doing is investing in the index. So if you had invested in the index in 1979 at 100 and assuming for a minute there was no tax on dividends, etc., and all the money was reinvested, it would be worth about 95,000 today. Right, that is the total return index on the Sensex from 1979 till today, which is not bad, right? Your 100 becoming 1 lakh is not a bad thing at all. No one knew about the potential of IT sector in 1980. Completely agree by Bhavika Ahuja. Buying Infosys in the early 90s would have been relatively easy. No, not relatively easy. I bought Infosys at 350 and within 45 days it became 700. So on 300 shares I was making 400 bucks. and that is big money, right? So in 1992 or 93, I think I made 1 lakh rupees in 45 days, and that was huge money. So I booked, and then I didn't buy again. Then of course I bought, sold. I currently hold Infosys, but I did not hold Infosys from start till today. But I held Hero Honda from start till today. I've held Colgate from start till today, right? So some of these shares you hold, some of the shares you sell. So you could have made more money in cryptocurrency. God bless you, Coin Yogi, but that's not my area. Who would have invested in ghee and FMCG business back then? I completely agree with you, Ravindra Surana. That is true, because Wipro was more an oil refining company. Then they got into electric bulbs, etc., and software, and none of us understood what was software. So that I agree. One of my friends, Dr. Ramakrishnan, says one of my friends did it actually, and couple of years back his dividend income was 4 crores. Dr. Ramakrishna, I know many people like that. There is one person who visits this blog who has got a net worth of, hold your breath, 2 times the net worth of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. There are such people. It's not as though such people don't exist. You may not know them. That's I know someone in Surat who has this. True. I know someone in Bombay who has done this. How much would it have been? 22 years. Also, many people did not have 10,000 in 1980. I'm sick of hearing this comment. As a 30-year-old in 1980, you would be 72 plus, so this money is not worth it. Again, complete nonsense, simply because it is not as though you would have held the whole thing. You could have sold it partially and made some money. Yeah, so this is a very sensible one from somebody who's Jalagiri. SM Jalagiri, who says, why not look at it as rupees 100 invested in 1980 in Wipro is worth 7 crores today. Absolutely, bingo. You did not have 10,000, you had 5,000, maybe you had 1,000, maybe you had 500. You could have bought something, right? Odd lot of Wipro you could have bought and accumulated. You could have kept buying at various stages. You would have taken the bonuses, right? All those things you could have done. So there are people in some places who held on to the shares because it was given by Mr. Azim Premji or his father or somebody, and said, please hold on to these shares, you will make money. So there are people who hold it, but there's no point in cribbing about something which you didn't do. It's a commission. I also didn't do. It's called error of commission or error of omission. Just check it out and give me an answer on the blog. Error of omission or error of commission. Thank you.